Cost of living is too high right now. Gas and inflation are too high right now. If it says 10 ounces on the package, it better be 10 ounces. All right, guys, we have another short waiting problem with the Village Farms organic grape tomatoes. They're asking $3.34 for these. Let's see if any of them come in at 10 ounces. Let's calibrate the scale. 100 grams. 100 grams. They're supposed to weigh 10 ounces. All right, let's go. 8.9, over an ounce short. 9.2, almost an ounce. 8.9, over an ounce again. 9.4. 9.4. 9.5. 9.7, we're getting closer. Do we make it? Oh, I mean, there's plenty of room in there. Look at that, for more tomatoes. They're cutting out 2 tomatoes per package to increase profits. Reputable purveyor, especially with produce, should be packing an overage for shrinkage. There's a similar product, 10 ounces. There you go. So it's up to you when you're in Walmart and you see this brand. Buy it or not.
Just when you thought there was nothing left for the government to regulate, California found something. Your tires. It's true. California just became the first state in America to regulate how efficiently replacement tires roll. Yes, we're talking about tires. Starting in 2029, replacement tires sold in California will have to meet new state efficiency standards. Why? California says some replacement tires create more resistance when they roll. More resistance means your car uses a little more gas or electricity. So California's solution is pretty simple. Regulate the tires. The state says the new rules could save drivers money on gas and electricity and reduce emissions. So someday, you might walk into a California tire shop and discover that certain tires can't be sold because they don't roll efficiently enough. We've regulated emissions, we've regulated engines, we've regulated fuel, and now California has apparently reached the tires. What's next? Aerodynamic mud flaps? Make sure you're following me right here for much more.
Tell me if anybody else experiences anything like this. I was up early this morning, took the dogs for a good walk. All morning, super productive, getting tons of stuff done. And like 12:30 hit, and that was that. Like my body just stopped. It just was like, no. And it's not like I was doing anything like real physical or anything. My body and my brain just like stopped working. They just stopped. It was like some kind of protest. And it's not like I need a nap or something. They just stopped. They just said no. And now it's like I'm thinking about all of these things that I have to get done, and it's just not happening. Not at all. It's just not happening. I don't get it.
U.S. credit card debt has hit over $1 trillion. It's at 1.25 trillion now. But back in 2021, it was about 50 billion, something like that. And that's a 60% increase. And that's crazy that in just 5 years, we've crossed over into that $1 trillion threshold. But this is all due to corporate greed. Like people now, because things are so expensive, have to put basic needs on credit, like groceries, soap, deodorant, toiletries. And it's really concerning because I remember when I was young, I told myself, oh, don't put certain things on credit cards. Like don't put your groceries, don't put your, toiletries. You need to pay cash for those. But now people don't have a choice. There's no option. It's like that's the only way you can pay for it. And I think this is a pretty clear sign that capitalism is not working in our favor. Like if it was working, we wouldn't be destitute. Credit card debt wouldn't be through the roof. But the fact that credit card debt is through the roof and people aren't living lavishly should tell you there's a problem. So just to make this clear for people, before the Great Recession happened, people had debt, but they were living lavishly. They had debt because they were over spending. They wanted lavish furniture. They wanted the fanciest cars. But now people have debt because they wanted to eat, because they needed a new couch because theirs broke, because they needed to buy deodorant. Like, people have debt for that. And I don't think enough people are talking about the fact that people in the US before the Great Recession were better off than we are now. That's a scary thought. Like, before the massive crash that occurred, people were doing pretty well and had all the fanciness. Now people have no fanciness, can barely make it. So if a crash comes, what's left to give up? It's a scary thought, and I am concerned, but y'all have a good night.
This is how you know how fucked the world is and how much people are just like programmed to like things, right? Raisin Cane's, the most cafeteria fucking food you can get. Blandest, middest, whatever food. Sucks. Crumble cookies. Some of the worst fucking cookies ever, but they were in every music video. They force this advertising on you. Same with Raisin Cane's. They partner up with every freaking celebrity you could think of. The shit sucks, but people will like go to bat for these companies and be like, oh no, it's good. You just got it on a bad day. Or, well, you didn't, the sauce wasn't that great that day. Or these cookies are this or whatever. The fucking food sucks. And somehow it has a giant audience and there's lines at these places. Don't get it.
And working hard don't get you nothing but more work for the same fucking pay. That's why the fuck I be stealing time and shit. When everybody clocking out, I pretend like I'm doing it and don't. Cause you gotta finesse their ass like they fucking finessing you.
I don't know if this is just an LA thing or the economy is beyond fucked up right now, but why I go to a sandwich shop just now and the total came to $14.82, and mind you, the thing says $11.99 for a large. That's fine. I understand tax and everything, but I was like, $14.82 kind of sounds a little high. And he was like, yeah, you got it toasted. I said, he's like, yeah, it's $1.50 to get it toasted. I said, $1.50? $1.50 to get something toasted? You gonna charge $1.50 just to get something toasted? I could have did that shit at home. If I would have known that, I would have did that shit at home. $1.50 to get something toasted is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. 50 cents, okay, cool. $1.50? Y'all got me fucked up.
A friend of mine works at a bank, and he said, Drayton, do you have a minute? And I said, sure. He says, I'm going to FaceTime you. I said, okay. So he got me on FaceTime, and he goes, I want to show you something. I said, what do you want to show me? He goes, I have on my desk, he goes, I'm going to show it to you in a second. This is the list of the mortgages that we have that they are at least one payment late. At least one. Some of these are 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 months behind. I said, okay. And he turned the camera like this and put it on his desk. Can you see that? It was, he just started one page after another, after another. He starts flipping, he goes, I'm in B's. And he keeps flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping it. He goes, I'm in D's. And flipping and flipping it. I mean, it is absolutely staggering. And I don't know when the reality is going to hit. I don't know when people are going to go, hey, wait a minute. We are all out here drowning. But people are absolutely drowning in debt. They can't afford their cars. They can't afford their houses. They can't afford their insurances. Everything has simply gotten too expensive. And people are maxed out. I mean, absolutely maxed out. And I have no idea where we go from here. But over the next 6 to 12 months, this is all going to just unravel. It's getting bad. Real bad. I don't know what comes next, but it can't be anything good. It can't be anything good. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and follow for more. It's bad.
I have a question. Do any of you live in a city that has a monopoly on your utilities? Because I thought that was illegal. But it's like that where I live. And I have an almost 1,700 square foot home. This month, my utilities were over $700. For reference, I lived just outside of the city limits before, and my house was almost 4,000 square feet. And my utility bill was between $300 and $400 throughout the year. I hate it.
Can somebody answer me this question? If everybody stop paying their bills, what's going to happen? Is everybody going to be out in the street? Is everybody going to be poor? What's going to happen? I mean, this is America. It's a democracy, right? Don't the people have the power? I mean, I don't know. What y'all think?
None of this feels normal anymore, and we've kind of just accepted it, you know? If you told me 10 years ago that this is where we'd be at today, I honestly wouldn't have believed you. With, you know, the wild advancements with our phones, the division, with everything else, I honestly would not have believed you. But if you really take a step back and you think about it, it really adds up to why we're here, why everybody's angry, why nobody wants to talk to each other, why everybody's burnt out. It kind of makes sense if you really break it down. You know, we got a new technology that's emerging that has everybody freaked out. We're constantly being told that it's going to change the world for the better, but then you read the next news article that says that the people that are creating it are fearful of it. You know, we got people developing intimate relationships with AI, thinking that it's a real person. And don't get me wrong, I talk to AI. I try to use it for like health benefits and whatever. Instead of using Google, I use AI. But it's going too far, and everybody lives in their phones nowadays, right? So how do you get away from that? Everything feels off to me right now. Whether it's, you know, walking down the road and almost getting hit by an electric car, which happened to me just last week. I went to go cross the road with my dog, and I thought there was nobody around. And we just went to go cross the road and went and stepped out, and an electric car went buzzing by. You couldn't even hear him.
I own a new Chevrolet pickup, and it's got a major problem, and Chevrolet doesn't know how to fix it. This 2026 Chevrolet Silverado will randomly shut off going down the road with my wife and kids in it. It puts itself in neutral and the engine turns off. And we took it to our local dealership, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. We can't get it to do that. But it's happened to us 4 times, and that scares the living hell out of me. So please like and share this post to help raise awareness. Maybe I'll come across a technician somewhere that knows the actual fix, because I'm probably going to have to get rid of this brand new pickup because I don't think it's safe for me and my family. It scares me and my wife that it just shuts off going down the highway. I'm Brett B. from Texas. If you've had this, please share it with me too. I want to hear y'all's input, but yeah, Chevrolet, you need to do something about this.
So my last $200 is being held captive by a grocery store in Texas. Brookshire's is what it's called. All because I used a pay at the pump at the gas station, at their gas station, because I get off work at 6:30 in the morning. They were not opened, and I needed gas. So now I have to wait 2 to 3 days, business days, today is Sunday, to get my $200 back, all because I paid at the pump. How freaking stupid is that? I know I've talked to people. I am just on here venting. Why in the world would a company keep all the money that a person has on their card for a small amount of gas? I am freaking livid. I am trying not to cuss because today is Sunday and I didn't go to church this morning. $196 is being held captive by a grocery store. $196 for 3 days at the most that I cannot use. And that's all that I have.
There's something extremely illegal happening in the American workforce right now, and it's bad for all of us, and I don't really know what to do about it, but figured I'd call it out. Basically, companies are hiring on what they're calling contract positions, but they're treating them like employees and then mislabeling them. So basically, they're like saying you can work for 9 months or however long the legal limit is before they have to hire you on full time. And then they're not giving you overtime. They're not giving you insurance. They're not giving you paid sick days. They're not giving you vacation days. They're not giving you any of the employee protections that you would give to somebody that you hire on. And they don't have to lay people off, because they're just basically getting rid of everybody every like 9 months, 6 to 9 months. And it's totally mislabeled, because they're also telling people what time they have to work and like what they need to be doing like hour by hour, which if you're doing that means that you should be labeled as an employee and not a contract worker. And I started seeing this in like job postings for like social media stuff, and then it started going over into like video and music stuff, and now it's like creative positions all across the board. And now it's to the point where like I saw LA Public Parks post one of these positions, and I'm like, this is incredibly illegal. They're taking away all of our workers' rights, and they're like basically just like putting all of the pressure onto the employee, because whenever you do that, like you have to pay way more in taxes, and you don't have any protections. And this is like a huge problem. They're taking away all of our rights as like workers and then just like calling it a contract position. It's really messed up. Like what do we do about this?
Okay, I'm doing this no insurance thing because I think insurance is a scam. So I don't have health insurance. I don't have car insurance. So here's the tea if you don't have insurance. I got pulled over the other day, and he said, "Insurance, please." And I said, "Don't have that." And he said, "Oh, okay. Here's your warning." Okay. My car insurance for my Tesla Model X is $444 a month. I was like, I ain't paying that insurance. I haven't paid that in a year. Do the math. What have I saved? I ain't doing that math. Okay. But here's the other tea. I just got a thing in the mail that says like, register your car or whatever. Like for your, I don't know, registration. You have to provide insurance to get your car registered. So I am going to have to renew it just to simply have like an updated tag on my car. But I'm gonna cancel that shit after I do that. I don't know. Playing with fire, if you will. It's a not if, but when situation. Now health insurance is another story, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me on that with the health insurance scenario. I do realize I'm being a little crazy with the car insurance. I just don't like getting ripped off. Hey, if I have to spend my money on something that's fair, I'm gonna do it. But what car insurance is, it's, it just seems like you're at a kiosk placing an order for your meal and it's asking you for a tip. I'm clicking no every time.
Hey, I'm 53 years old and I am about done working. Working for what I've been doing, for the hours I've been putting in, and the income that I get back from it, it ain't worth it. I've been driving trucks for over 20 some years, maybe even longer than that, I guess part-time here and there, but for the last several years full-time, and it's not a life for me. I'm over it. I'm tired of giving all my time for a paycheck that's marginal, that does not get me from paycheck to paycheck. There's most of the second paycheck is already spoke for when I get it, and then that just makes for a pretty shitty couple more weeks, and I'm just not going to take it anymore. So, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I've decided to change my life because I need to be able to do the things that I need to do as a dad, a rodeo dad at that. And all of you guys know what that takes. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of income. to get to them rodeos, back and forth, tires. You guys know all the deal. And I can't do it, keep doing it the way I'm doing it. So I'm making a change. I figure it out, get the right mindset. And if your guy's willing to show up on a daily basis for a couple, 2-3 hours, and you got a phone, you got some internet, then this online space of income making is perfect for what I need to do, so I can be more present. I don't have to spend as much time gone. I can be here and just live the life that I want to live. I want to be able to go rodeo, and I don't want to be the dad that says no. I want to be the dad that says yeah. And we can go next weekend. We can go grab barrel racing in a couple nights, dear, if you want to. That'd be great. That's what I want to be able to do, and I can't do it now. And it pisses me off that after being clean and sober now for 17 months, I'm still not right financially, and I need to be. So this is making me make the change and helping me. If you guys want to come along, we can learn together, because I'm new at this, you know. I would be no different than you. It's a little spooky, but I'm ready to take on that challenge, and I'm gonna. I'm not gonna do anything different. I'm not going back to what I was doing, so come along with me and follow.
All right, guys, UBCR is the company I work for. You know, you go to Kroger's, Walmart's, get bins. They just fired me. I told the dude, why would you have me come in if you're gonna fire me? Just tell me over the phone. Oh, we gotta go in person. Fuck that professionalism shit. You're not professional, bro. If you were professional, you'd pay us professionally, period. I gotta do touch freight for this job with an electric pallet jack for $22 an hour. I'm pretty open. A lot of truck drivers like to hide their shit. I don't hide my shit, I'm open. But $22.50 an hour, you know, the benefits were okay. I mean, they had bonuses here and there, not bad. But I mean, it was just crazy, man. They want to watch you inside the truck. I don't want my privacy to be invaded, bro. And I mean, it's just micromanaging. It's just, ay. I mean, I didn't even post nothing bad on my social media, dude. All I talked about was fucking badass drivers and shit. You know what I mean? But I don't know. And then they said they fired me mainly because of the DLT video. I'm like, bro, it was just a video of me talking. Like, what? And your company's truck's not even in the video. I've been blurring out everything, bro. So I think the president got a video on his For You page. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I have a CDL. I'll get a new job. But I don't play that dumb shit, bro. I mean, you're going to pay... If you want us to act professionally, then pay us professionally. You know what I'm saying? If you do the bare minimum, I'm going to do the bare minimum too. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
I lied all the time when I was poor. I lied to my landlord, to the electric company, to the gas company, to the phone company, to the internet company. I would say, oh, the money is coming, or I already mailed it, or it must have gotten lost, or I never received that notice. I wasn't lying because I had some secret stash of money that I didn't want to give them. I was lying because they were asking me when I could pay, and the real answer was, I have absolutely no idea. I remember crouching down in my bedroom hiding because my landlord was knocking on the door looking for rent. I was a grown woman hiding in my own home, absolutely terrified. I went months without heat or hot water, several times. Sometimes I poured diesel fuel into the heating system just to get one day of heat. I boiled water on the electric stove so my kids could bathe, and then I used their bathwater when they were done. When the electricity was shut off, sometimes I asked a neighbor if I could run an extension cord from their apartment. I drove cars with failed inspections, canceled registrations, no insurance, and brakes that were constantly failing because the alternative was losing my job. I lost 2 vehicles, separate occasions, after being pulled over for a canceled registration. They were towed, and then I couldn't afford to get them back, so they were just gone. There was one time I was pulled over, and I cried. I told the officer, my only crime is I'm poor, and thankfully it worked that time. He let me go. But I couldn't even teach my own son to drive my car because it wasn't insured. If he had an accident, I would have lost the only way I had to get to work. I depended on toy giveaways for Christmas and free holiday meals. I used food pantries. I wrote bad checks for groceries. I was working a professional job with barely any clothing. I was trying to piece together outfits and wear the same thing over and over again and hoping that no one would notice. I couldn't afford childcare, so my 8-year-old son stayed home alone after school. Then I reduced my hours so I could be home with him, which meant I had even less money. And when I finally started getting small raises, I lost housing assistance and my food stamps were cut. The raise didn't lift me out of poverty, it actually made us worse off. I borrowed money, genuinely believing that I would pay it back, but there was never any extra money later. There was only another overdue bill, another emergency, another thing that my children needed. That's what living in poverty was like for me. It was lying and hiding and borrowing and calculating, apologizing, and constantly trying to make something out of absolutely nothing. And then being judged for every desperate decision I made when none of the choices in front of me were actually good.
Tell me I'm wrong, but the country isn't doing well when seniors can't even afford groceries who've worked their whole lives.
Predatory pricing is getting so bad. Like, I'm at the Home Depot right now, okay? Bought this Bosch laser level. They didn't have a price on the shelf, so I looked it up online. It was $129. I get to the front, they ring it up. I think it was like $160, and I was like, oh, you guys like price match. I pull out my phone and I go, oh, actually, it's your own website, and it's $129. The girl working at the Home Depot says, we can't take that. We can't take they want you to buy it online. What are you talking about? They want me to buy it online. I'm here. I'm in the store. I'm holding the item. What? That's literally your price. That's your price. What do you mean, Home Depot? Anyways, I ended up making out a little bit because I plugged the number into Google and I got it on Amazon for like $10 cheaper than their price even, and they do price match like other stores. But I don't know what parallel universe we're living in where things like this make sense.
Okay, I'm going to say this one time, and I know it gets talked about a lot, but how exactly are people expected to maintain an actual life outside of work when our jobs only leave us with like 2 to 4 usable hours of time once we log off for the day? And I know some people are going to try to argue and say that we actually have more than 4 hours after work, which is why I said usable hours. So once you subtract stuff like family obligations and chores and taking care of kids and all that stuff. For instance, I don't have any kids yet, and let's just say for this example that I have 0 chores, which obviously does not make any sense, but let's just do it anyway. Take a second to look at this schedule on the screen. Pause the video if you need more time. Assuming that you want to stay in shape and work out, then you only have 2 hours and 15 minutes of free time to focus on hobbies or anything else you want to do. How does that make any sense? Again, this is assuming I have 0 kids and 0 chores. This is exactly why a lot of people keep talking about moving to the 4-day work week. I think it's pretty clear at this point that our current 5-day setup was built for a completely different era. Like, technology has allowed us to be way more productive and get way more done in way less time. So I think it's time that our current work schedule start reflecting that.
Okay, it's time for another video of why the heck are things so expensive? So I know a couple of folks have continued to say, go to cheaper stores, and I will. But at this point, it's still becoming ludicrous how expensive things are becoming. So if you don't like it that I'm going to more expensive places, fine. But it's really just a microcosm of what's happening everywhere. So enjoy today's new items, and I'd love to hear what's happening in your area. So share, because guys, this is getting out of hand and we have the power to work with our government to stop it. So for those, again, that don't think that price increases are happening or that the economic situation isn't getting worse, you're missing the picture. You're missing what's happening. So check it out and enjoy.
Okay, now this one really gets me. It's oatmeal. Yeah, it's got some extra fiber and some extra protein, but it's 8 packages of oatmeal, and it's $7.50 for oatmeal. Guys, oatmeal. I shouldn't have to say anything more than that. frickin' oatmeal, $7.49. Okay, garlic powder. It's a spice. And it's one spice. It's garlic. And what are we looking at here? $11.99. I don't care how fancy this shit is. $11 for garlic powder? Oh my lord, kids. Listen, I love garlic, but not that much. Okay, kids. No sugar Coke. Coke Zero. I think this is what, an 8-ounce bottle? An 8-ounce bottle. 6 of them. 8 ounces. $9. No, things aren't getting too expensive. It's as cheap as it's always been. You're basically paying $1.50 for this tiny bottle that fits in my hands. Oh, yeah, right. Things aren't getting more expensive at all. Okay, ballpark hot dogs. $7.29 for a freaking hot dog. Hot dogs. $7.29. They better be making that out of the most fancy cow ever for $7.29 for hot dogs. Okay, this is my last one at the store for today. Cream cheese. A simple 8-ounce container of cream cheese, right? What do we got? $5, $4.79 for cream cheese. There was a time when cream cheese was like $2. And this is just crazy. Again, cream cheese, small container of cream cheese, only 8 ounces, $5 stinking.
So I just walked out of my job for the last time. I gave my notice a few weeks ago, and today was my last day. All I can say is I never want to do that shit ever again. How do people do that? How do people just work a job for their entire lives, 40, 50 years? And I know it's actually bad because I liked the people I worked with. The people I worked with were really cool. My manager's super chill. I never really had to do anything that was super difficult. It's just spending so much of your day inside doing a bunch of little bullshit little tasks that you're not even interested in for some massive company that, to be honest, you don't really care about, and they don't care about you either.
Guys, I'm crashing out. I am at Walmart for this second day. I got paid Friday. I'm at Walmart. It is Sunday, second day. I have already given them half my paycheck. Half my paycheck. I am so sick of being in this parking lot. I am so sick and tired of it costing so much to feed a family of 4, and we don't spend frivolously. I make most of our snacks because I can make them in larger quantities and better than the crap that's prepackaged. When does it stop? When does somebody do something about it? I don't know. Post your thoughts. Let me know. What should we do? Because we don't buy anything we don't need. So I don't know. I don't know what else to do. And then to top it off, I almost forgot this part. We're constantly being marketed to. Buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. I live paycheck to paycheck. I have nothing left over. I don't even have enough money to invest in my own Roth IRA or 401k where I work. Don't have the money. I shut it off. I had to. Taxes and insurance make up $200 of my house payment every month. $200. I mean, you could go on and on and on forever. I'm exhausted. I am tired. We work 7 days a week, and we aren't even treading water. And we make more money than we have ever made before in our life. More money than we have ever made before in our entire life, collectively, my husband and I. And we are broke.
This video is for people that work at a bank. I have seen several videos now of people talking about how they know people that work at banks, and they're saying that the foreclosures should be way higher than they actually are. That there are people 2, 3, 4, 6 months behind on their mortgage payments, And the bank is just not doing foreclosures because there would be so many of them, and then they would have all these empty homes. How long can they do that for? Because, like, I'll be honest, I'm not an economics person. I took one economics class in college as part of my degree. And I mostly learned about how banks caused the 2008 financial crisis. So, I guess the theory is that other people who understand this way better than me, they're saying that the banks don't want that to happen again. So they're just not sending out foreclosures. But they can't do that forever. They have to get these people's money, right? So what... I can someone explain to me nicely, preferably, how long they could possibly do this for, and if eventually we get to a point where they can't, how bad is it gonna be? Because if the foreclosure rate went up by 20-something% between last year and the first several months of this year, and there's a whole bunch of people that they're not sending foreclosures for, how bad is that number, that foreclosure number, actually? How bad is that number of people who are that far behind? And, like, we don't have money to buy homes. That's why all these people who are trying to sell their homes are like, I can't sell my house. I can't sell my house. Because people just don't have the money to buy the homes. So even when these homes do go into foreclosure, there's not going to be... Who's going to buy them? So if someone who understands the economy and banks a little better than me could kindly explain what's going to happen when the banks cannot hold out anymore like they are. Because I'm assuming they can't do it forever.
This is happening every day, and it's happening everywhere. Americans is starting to see it. And there's nothing you can do about it. The system is against us. And people are starting to realize this. And it's sad because you have to experience this every day. So that's why a lot of people are just angry, depressed. Because this is a sad situation to see. And it's going to get worse. That's the sad part. And sometimes we got to smile to keep from crying. And it's a tough situation. You don't know how you're going to pay next month's rent. People are picking and choosing what bills to pay. People have stopped paying their bills. They feel like, what's the point? And the companies is making so much entrance off the consumers. It don't make no sense. And the paychecks is not enough. And we was always told, get a job. Your life is going to be better. It seems like having a job is making your life worse. And that's the sad part. And now you feel like you trapped. You caught up in this life that you can't escape. And a lot of people feel like they can't escape. That's the sad part. Life in America. But we still here to see it. We still want to know what's going on. People still want to get their frustrations out. Conversate with one another to see what they're doing to prepare. Because if you don't prepare, you're going to be left behind. And a lot of people are realizing that. Because nobody should be left behind. But now it's time to wake up. Do what you got to do to survive. Because at the end of the day, everybody's stuck in survival mode. And when will it end? You not being in survival mode no more. And hopefully it gets better because Americans are starting to see the lies. And that's my take on this situation. Let me know how y'all feel about this one. Share it in the comments. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.